Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D. Hopefully, I didn't make me miscount. Um, Vrin,
I hope I did, because that'd be hilarious.
when we last left off, uh, your little intrepid adventuring party picked up a couple new companions. The young, sickly-looking human boy, Orlando, and his companion Anna T of the nearby Saurian tribe. You guys were
Orlando doesn't exist here.
you guys were journeying through Firanice Tunnel, initially heading for the city of Firai, before you realized that that would put a huge detour on your journey, and decided to take a shortcut that, with sheer determination, you managed to uncover despite terrible investigation checks, to get to the city of Lakenice instead on the other side of the
Mm.
tunnel. However, the path you're going through is currently the den of another member of Sanguis's kind that apparently the two have met and battled before, with the other creature emerging victorious the first time.
That's
Uh,
fake news.
um, and that is where we will pick up. So, you guys are crouching through the small tunnel that joins the incomplete pathway intended to link the two cities for various trade and industry. But according to Orlando, the project was abandoned due to disturbing both the nearby Saurian tribe and this creature's habitat. Um, uh, as you guys head deeper into this small little mole hole, you notice that a very dense mist starts to kind of gather at near your about at the knee level. Not unnaturally, like, it's not like a magical mist, but like, it's just like this tunnel seems very humid with a lot of gathering of water vapors. You imagine that the river you saw at the Saurian camp, where you guys refilled your water skins, probably runs through here, which is creating this dense mist. Um, and already, nothing seems to immediately alert you, but you can already hear distant clicking and chittering sounds of various creatures deeper in the tunnel.
Mm.
That's fake news. Sanguis can't lose.
Um, well, I guess, you probably know the way, what was their names again?
Orlando and Onati.
Well, I guess I'm gonna ask them, hmm, well, do you know the way?
Um, or Orlando smiles kind of awkwardly, as per the norm. Seems like he doesn't really have another mode of smiling, before kind of gesturing ahead, and says, well, it's just kind of a straight shot from here, actually. The tough part is going to be getting there in one piece if your friends don't can manage not to aggravate each other.
You think it'd be bad if I said what I was thinking when you
Yeah,
said
whatever it is, yes.
Probably.
I yeah, like, focus.
I'm guessing
Whatever it
you're
is.
gonna make a comment about what I said.
um uh
it's like,
uh
just ask.
um friend. So yeah, so according to Orlando, this is just a straight shot. Tough part is going to be getting there safely.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything from anyone else before we progress?
Thought we already all agreed on this in the
No,
last
not just,
session.
I'm just giving a chance for dialogue.
No, like we agreed on this last session, didn't we? Like in
Mhm.
character.
Yeah. All
So
right.
it's supposed to be weekly, but it's turning into monthly.
Well, times people just have other
You can't
D&D
Busy time.
sessions.
Yeah, we're busy bees. Anyway, so you guys continue through this increasingly densely enfoggened tunnel. until eventually the tunnelway ahead of you starts to open up into what would pretty obviously, even from this distance, even for those of you without dark vision, be a large clearing or cavern in the tunnel. And Orlando stops for a moment to pull a lantern from his backpack that he then lights. So to give those of you without dark vision, including himself, some ability to navigate as you enter the big cavern. Looking around, you guys are, as I said, in a it is a mostly tall cavern. It's not incredibly wide, only about 15 feet in either direction. But the height of the cavern is what's mostly impressive. Um, and across the way, you can hear the sounds of rushing water and see some distant glowing lights. And Flower and Fall, I believe you are possessed of dark vision.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, they're possessed!
They just turn around and shoot.
Yeah. No, they don't turn around. Their heads just turn.
Oh, yeah, their heads turn around and then their arms awkwardly break as well.
Flower and Fall, you are able to see past what meager light the lantern is able to offer in such a large cavern. You see, indeed, the mist seems to be coming from a flowing river on the rightmost side of the cavern that kind of weaves out from a nearby cavern that you can't see, and then weaves back into the deeper into the cave, presumably heading towards the Saurian camp from here. Covering that water, though, is this thick, inky black ichor that you recognize from the goblin creature's little strand that it dangled from the ceiling. And it's tied over the river in these intricate patterns and knots. Very pretty to look at. And on the opposite side of this river, bridged only by this inky substance, you can see those glowing lights are coming from these strange insectoid creatures currently staring at you from the darkness, along with a fairly large group of goblins.
Gobbles.
You can gather just from looking, they can see you, but they don't seem to have necessarily figured out that you specifically at least can see them.
Stare down.
I can
Gotta
see
fly over
you.
to my dear friends and tell them that
And just imagining
they're
they fly over and they just get splat by a goblin with a club.
they are not my friends. Goblins, I mean. Uh, fly over to the group and whisper in their ears. Just yeah, they're over that river over there.
Oh, I thought you were
Gesture
flying over to the
vaguely.
goblins.
Yeah, I'll fly over to them and die.
Just, it's just like a bug. Just
Unfortunately, not so easy. It's kind of,
Yeah.
some goblins over that river and some weird bugs.
well, I figured there'd be goblins in here, considering there's been goblins every fucking where.
Alright.
Just a little bit shocked that they're not like stabby, slashy right now. They certainly have the element of surprise. Or had the element of surprise.
Oh no, they see us.
Yeah, but now you see them. Just fucking Austin over there, just like, yeah, score stag.
Orlando kind of squints at the blinking lights in the darkness, and kind of glances to you guys. So what do we do? Do we just go by and hope they don't attack us, or what?
Sounds like a plan.
We could wave a flag of peace.
Goblins
like-
know what a flag of peace is.
Like, do we have a flag of peace?
Do any of you have a white claw?
Isn't that a flag of surrender?
It's a flag of peace as well.
How are they going to tell the difference?
It's not like they're well, they may attack you, but
Hmm.
Do they even see like the same colors we do? Like white may look like red to them. You know, because they live in cave and stuff.
But
So they
wouldn't they
probably
just
see
associate
differently.
the flag, whatever color it is, with what it means?
Not necessarily.
Man.
Can we just say this is the stupidest conversation ever?
Hey, very
I mean,
important.
to be fair, the main reason I'm not stepping in is because I think this is one of the longest conversations you guys have actually managed to have in character, so I'm not going to squander it.
I mean, yeah, it's, I have a handkerchief. I'd probably have a handkerchief being a butler.
Cool. I will tie it to a stick.
Do we have a stick? I haven't exactly been around trees in a while.
Well, lad, did you have a stick?
Orlando kind of fidgets around in his backpack.
It's just like, what's a stick?
Before
I
he
lived here
pulls
my whole life. What's a stick?
before he pulls out a what to him is a sewing needle, but to you is a decently sizable stick.
Yeah.
She's really gonna stick it to him.
Nice to see we're on our A game this session.
Yeah. Well,
Can I
perfect
borrow it?
idea. He smiles and hands it to you. Yeah, of course. Whatever
That's
gets us
my
through this cave
cackle.
safely.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna take it and turn it back into a stick.
turn
And
it
it'll be
back.
big, but don't worry, it's fine. And take Paul's handkerchief. I'm not gonna ask this time. What's mine is yours.
What's mine? Mikasa Sukasa.
Just
more
kind of
like-
tie it into a tiny flag. And go to the edge of the bridge and just kind of wave it around.
Wave your hands in the air like you just don't care.
Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Let me see. What do I perception? +1.
Hey.
That's a 3.
You see nothing.
Nothing seems out of the ordinary. So you fly. You kind
Everything's
of.
fine.
Jesus.
You're okay.
We all. So you.
R.I.P.
So the two of you hover towards the bridge, waving your improvised white flag. Looking at the various creatures, they make me an insight check.
Probably
Maybe
another
should have
one.
drew a peace sign on it.
Probably another one. 17.
As you approach
Hey, rolls
them,
that up to 20. 3 and 17.
as you approach them, you notice that they don't seem afraid of you, but they don't really seem like they basically seem to have that kind of air about them of just kind of tending to their own affairs and more just like paying attention to you because you just happen to have entered the room. You do notice though that some of them kind of glance up to your little improvised peace flag. And finally, one of the insectoid creatures steps forward and holds out a three-fingered hand, each of the fingers of which is glowing a bright orangish yellow color. And you hear a voice in your head that says, "Leave now."
Hmm.
No.
Unfortunately, we can't.
Yeah.
Then die.
Go then die.
Perish.
uh, you feel a friggin' gooey substance land on Fall's head, and just kind of. It seems to be the same ichory substance that makes up this this webbing, and you look up and you see the same goblin from before still seeming to be afflicted with the same condition as Captain Red. But what catches your attention more than this goblin is what it's currently clinging to, which is a colossal spider taking up
Huh.
most of the cavern ceiling.
Hmm.
And it looks down at you, and the rest of you can't see it, but you do hear as it lets out this horrifying hiss that echoes across the cave walls, and it leaps
Hey,
down.
Shelob.
Shelob isn't a terrible mental image, and it leaps down to attack the two of you. Everyone go ahead and roll initiative.
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull myself out of bed.
Ooh, I got a nat 20.
Nice.
22.
You get
Man,
double
this
damage
spider's
for the
just
whole
not
round.
friendly.
You get double damage for
Hey,
the whole
sir.
round.
Did you not see my
Got a
peace
10.
sign?
Oh wait. No,
Yeah,
I
wouldn't
used
that
up
be
my initiative.
crazy?
I got
If you roll
11.
All right.
Yeah.
If you roll a 20 on freaking
Initiative.
initiative, you get double damage for the fight.
Oh my god.
That'd be like one of those games where you're all about being like OP.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just terrible rolling surface. I got a 20.
Gotta get those
All right.
towers.
How do we break the tie again?
Well, what's your initiative? Or yeah.
Well, wait, was yours a nat 20 or like 20 with modifier?
Nat 20.
Okay.
Oh,
what's
then
your,
yeah, go off the modifiers.
What's your dexterity?
+2.
You can go first. I mean, it's +2 as well, but you can go first if you want to.
What happens if it's a double tie?
I mean, it's more or less you could choose. I feel like, right?
Yeah, or we would just flip a coin.
Yeah, flip a coin, or just you could just choose like, hey, you want to go first, or I want to go first, or whatever. But I don't really have any preference.
Okay.
All right. So it's going to go Red, Paul, the creatures, and Flower and Fall. However,
Seems
so
like a tough fight.
yeah, so Red, you
Have
like I said, you
already
can't
used
see.
my transformation today.
No, you long rested since then. But yeah, so you can't see the creature, but you did hear it coming from the direction Flower and Fall went, so you can connect the dots fairly reliably.
Okay. Let me just check his sheet and see if he gets dark vision in his other form. I don't think he does,
Yeah,
but let's just be sure.
transform. Be like, whoa, I heard noises. Transform.
Nah, I don't look like he gets dark vision from transforming, so he doesn't know what's around exactly yet.
Mm.
If only he had some kind of ranged weapon. I mean, there's not much he could do until something comes to where he can see it, so.
Okay.
Just sit there.
Paul, you're
Is
up.
there like a thing where I could get like a fucking like Overwatch?
You can save a reaction and say that if it like comes within your like ability to see it, then you attack it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay, so you're gonna hold action until you can see it. Paul, you're up.
Matthew's played XCOM. He knows what Overwatch is.
Well, when you say Overwatch, it makes me think of the game Overwatch. But I guess I'm gonna go up. How far away is Flower Ball?
They got about 10 feet from you.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm just gonna go up to Flower and Fall and be like, I'm guessing the peace flag didn't work.
Unfortunately, it seems the spider doesn't like peace flag.
Spider? What spider are you talking about?
Oh yeah, you can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul, as you approach, you kind of squint through the darkness and you can just make out this colossal arachnid shape.
That is a thing. Well, so you're saying it came down to attack us?
Yeah, so all three of you are within melee range.
Oh. Yes, I'll do nothing.
All right. Orlando and Anna run towards the commotion. Orlando bringing Lantern in tow. And he approach as him and Anna get into range to be able to see it from the lantern's light as it casts its glow onto this. And now that it's in the light, you guys can see it a bit, because even with dark vision, you weren't able to see it in color or anything. You can see that the spider is coated in the same blue and black ichor substance as the goblin. And Orlando just takes a step back as he approaches. Oh my gods! And Anna unsheaths her curved sword and goes to take a swing at it, but is interrupted by a screaming pirate charging forward. Since the spider, you are now able to see it because of the lantern's light. You activated your reaction.
He saw it.
Kill.
So you can go ahead and make an attack roll.
Just waving his sword in the air, running at it.
Yeah, basically.
Let's see what we get today. Probably a 1.
You guys are so pessimistic about your rolls.
I'm not pessimistic. I just got better.
Rolls are
What do I
rolls.
add to it?
Depends on your attack. Let me pull out your character sheet here.
Depends on what kind of weapon you use. I think if you're using melee, it's strength, right?
Yeah, yeah, all of yours get a +4 regardless of what weapon you're using.
So I add strength and the +4?
No, plus, because it's plus your strength and plus your initiative,
Proficiency.
so +2, so +4.
Initiative.
So
Or not initiative, proficiency bonus,
yeah.
sorry.
So it's
+4.
+4 total?
Yes, +4 total.
I swear we do this every time.
Yeah.
So that'll be a total of 13.
All right, and you're swinging at the big boy, yes?
Is that the one I can see?
Well, you can see both of them.
Sure, big one.
All right. You take a swing at it, but the spider reels back onto its
Should've picked
webbing.
the other one.
And hisses very angrily. Now with the interruption for him dealt with, Anna charges forward with her curved sword and is going to take some swings at it.
Her scimitar. Or it could be a katana. Those are also curved.
It's actually not any kind of sword, at least that I know of, that we've seen here. Basically, picture like a boomerang and a sword had a baby.
So
Hmm.
basically, if Captain Boomerang was in like medieval mode.
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah.
Should play medieval mode on TF2 again.
Alright.
It's good fun.
All right. She swings at it and manages to stick it in one of its legs, causing it to shriek and kind of pull that leg in. And she goes to swing again, but it manages to reel out of the way this time.
She got 2 attacks.
Dexterous
What
spider.
the fuck?
Yep, some people get them 2 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I think Daniel was able to attack multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Attack, 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 attack.
The creature
Sounds like a
pulls
monk.
back.
That sounds like a monk. Like, I think monks can attack, like eventually attack like up to 4 times or 5 or quite a bit.
I think fighters can attack the most times. I think like a high level fighter can attack like 6 times in a turn.
Attack, 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 attack.
Basically.
Attack, attack,
Uh,
attack.
So the
Just make a
spider.
team full of fighters and monks, and it's just attack, 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 attack.
Lots of
attack.
rolls.
DPS team.
Yeah. I don't even need to check your AC for that. Go ahead and make me a Constitution save, Paul.
Constitution.
The way he says that, go ahead and make me a Constitution save.
Go ahead, make me
You won't
a
survive.
death saving throw.
Turns out it's challenge rating 20 or some shit.
Was
Yo mama.
10.
All right. For him.
Man, I didn't know your mama was 10.
Jesus Christ.
For
For
that sounds worse than what I thought it did when I was thinking it.
All right. So you got a 10.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Let's see.
God, that was actually kind of horrible.
And it's recorded.
Yeah, it's recorded.
Yeah, I'll probably cut it out in editing. Don't worry. And Paul, you
much
take
damage?
10 piercing damage and 10 poison damage.
All right. Well, good luck, guys.
Are you making saving throws?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, wait. So did the poison knock you out?
Yes.
You actually don't have to make saving throws. You are stable, but you are poisoned. So it's not going to kill you, but you are just out. The creature then reels back again and goes to take a swing at the flower.
Yeah, this just isn't okay.
But you manage to fly upwards as the creature swings a claw at you.
I think poison's actually something that Red's not immune to.
And finally,
I think he's immune to being poisoned, but not poison damage itself.
Wait.
The goblinoid creature leaps off of the spider's back and tackles you, Red, roaring angrily, and goes to slash into your chest.
It transforms.
Well, he didn't know what was there.
I know. I'm just saying. Make sure you don't half damage all that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta sort through my dice bags.
All you hear is just rolls. Like.
In total, you take 5 slashing damage.
Oh, okay. Now these 3 and 25 health.
Flower and Fall, you're up.
Hmm.
Yep. He has 30 health.
I'm gonna evaluate the situation.
Wait, what?
Uh, and try desperately to drive Paul out of the way.
All right, you're gonna disengage. Because you're small, make me a strength check.
Small.
Ha,
Man, Matthew
20.
choked on his words.
Yeah. Well, I'm also sick. All right. So the two of you, one of you each grab a shoulder and just start dragging. And to your surprise, neither of the creatures seem at all interested in stopping you. Red, you're up. So you got a freaking alien infected goblin
Well,
clinging
we're
to your
gonna need
chest
to.
and a
Now
giant
that we know
spider.
what we're up against,
Yeah.
time to transform.
All right, go for it.
Transform.
Sailor
Yeah.
Moon transformation.
Yeah, except like horrifying.
Yeah, except it's just scary.
I'm just imagining like Venom.
I mean, yeah, so just Venom meets Sailor Moon. All right, I believe transforming is a bonus action,
God,
so
you know that's probably on YouTube somewhere. Someone probably put like
Oh, yeah.
Sailor Moon music over like a Venom transformation.
oh, I'm sure. All right, so anything you want to do after transforming?
Attacks the motherfucker.
All right, go for it.
Okay. Alright, let's roll this bitch. That is a bad roll. No, like it didn't work. For 16.
All right, that's a hit. Roll for damage.
Like I didn't like just reroll.
No, I know.
It hit something wrong.
I would trust you to have the integrity to not do that.
Okay.
I recommend getting a tower. It's pretty helpful for like small spaces.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got damage. What do I roll for damage again?
I believe it's a D6 plus a D4.
D6. What the fuck? There's my D6.
Dice. Normal dice.
Where the fuck is D4?
What? D4. You just need a D6.
No, it's a D6 and a D4.
Oh. So it's just saying D6 plus D plus 4.
Where is that triangle?
Oh. Yeah.
That's a very good question. Where is that triangle?
I can roll for you if you need. I already have a D4 out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll the D4.
Uh,
Roll the D6.
Need more dice. I have a lot.
add a 2 to your roll.
That's 6, so that'll be 8 damage.
Okay. What kind of damage?
It doesn't matter because they all get halved.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll say slashing for flavor, like claws.
All right.
Like if you ever seen Prototype, just imagine that.
Yes.
Yeah. So you reel back and slash at the little creature digging into your chest, and manage to drive it off of you with a slash that pulls away at some of the blue and black flesh covering it to reveal its soft goblin-y center before the flesh promptly reasserts itself. Paul, you're unconscious, but again, you don't have to make saves, so you're good. Anna sees the situation pretty rapidly escalating, and Orlando whistles and goes to help Flower and Fall pull Paul away, and Anna, for him, is going to take a swing at the goblin creature.
The goblin. Post goblin. Nobody who gets that.
Nope.
She lunges for the creature with her special sword, her special eyes, her special sword, and the
Look,
creature
Look at this
dodges,
special eye. Why,
dodges out of the way of the first strike, but she manages to catch it in the arm with the second one. And as she's kind of wrestling with it with her blade, she looks to you, Red / Sanguis, and says, "We gotta get out of here!"
Sanguis is just like, but we were just getting to the good part.
The good part where your friend, and she like gestures to Paul being dragged away, dies.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Flower and Fall, you're up.
Red's probably just like, yeah, probably a good idea.
So we have Paul out of the way, yeah.
Well, this cavern's too small to disengage comfortably without exiting it. But yes, you are dragging him away. You don't have to like roll again since you got a comfortable 20, and plus Orlando's helping you now. So you're able to drag him. Make me a perception check.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 12.
As any or that's yeah, that's with modifiers. As you look around, because the cavern's not particularly decorated, or again, it's mostly tall, not wide. So even with a fairly low check, you look to your left as you're dragging Paul away, and you can see a tunnel leading out. That is too small for the spider to fit through. And presumably leads the way that you're supposed to be going. So if you can get everyone through there, you should be in the clear.
Well, yeah, I can't really argue.
Guys!
Anna looks over to you from the
She has night vision, right?
yeah.
Kind of point to the tunnel.
Anna nods to you and kind of nudges you, Captain Red, as both of you are kind of holding back the goblin creature. Your friends found the way out. Let's go.
Go, 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 go.
All right, Flower and Fall, you still have movement. What's your movement speed?
Our movement speed is like, it depends on assuming we're flying because we're dragging someone, it's like 10 already.
Yeah, especially with Orlando's help, you can fly.
Yeah, okay.
So 30, I'm assuming.
No, if we're flying, it's like 10 because we're tiny.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 30 when you were flying and only 10 on the ground.
Wait, no. Okay, yeah. So on the thing, it's listed as 10 because I'm on, because that's like my
Walking.
ground speed.
Yeah.
I was confused.
It's
Yeah.
okay. All right, so you can get Paul to the mouth of the cave, but won't be able to get him like to safety. But you can at least get him inside. So do you want to do that?
Yes.
All right, Red, you're up.
What?
You're up.
Oh. What? Hang on, what's going on?
Oh my God. Flower and Fall found the exit and are dragging Paul through the tunnel. And Anna pointed out the direction it is to you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Mother. I guess I spaced out or something. So I guess we're running for it.
Well, that's what everyone else seems to want to do, given how quickly Paul got brought down.
God, we better long rest because I used a fucking transformation. Yeah, I guess we'll follow.
All right. So you shove the goblin creature off of you and disengage to run
we
for
already
it.
slashed him off.
Yeah. Well, because you, I mentioned for flavor earlier that you and Anna were like working together to like keep him off of you so that you could friggin' figure out how to get out of here. Um, and similar to the others, you managed to make it to the mouth of the cave, but not quite inside yet. Anna, shortly behind you, does the same, and her and Orlando immediately embrace and look nervously as you all see the spider creature looming over its webbed nest over the river. And rather than charging you guys down, given that you're currently going through the tunnel, it reels back and shoots this ball of inky ichor at Captain Red.
He does not like you.
You manage to dodge out of the way, and as you see this ichor ball impacts the wall, and you can tell just looking at it that it's this like sticky, webby substance. You imagine you would be restrained tight if that had hit you. Um, and the creature lets out a roar of anger. And as you guys promptly hightail it through the tunnel, you can hear the voice of the infected goblin, who seems to be acting as the sort of mouthpiece for this creature, screaming as you all run down the tunnel to safety.
So
I'll keep coming after. Huh?
Are we
What?
running back the way we came?
No, you're running down the tunnel that Flower and Fall had seen to
Oh.
get where you need to go to safety. And you hear the voice of the infected goblin, the same voice that had spoken to you with before. I'll keep coming after you, even if it takes me 1,000 years.
Yeah.
What is with this grudge?
You guys run through the tunnel until you're comfortably certain that neither the goblin nor the spider can or will follow you. And eventually settle down in a smaller circular cavern. You can hear the squeaks of juvenile Ahul on the ceiling. Uh, uh, and other than that, though, things in this cavern are peaceful and quiet. And Orlando and Anna put their arms over each other and press their heads together, just sighing deeply, grateful that they had survived the encounter. Flower and Fall gently lay Paul near the campfire to rest. And that leaves. Yeah. As the transformation recedes back into Red's body, any dialogue from anyone before I presume you long rest?
I have a feeling we're not going to get out of here without putting a more permanent solution to that thing.
Orlando shakes his head over where he's sitting by Anna and says, nobody's ever seen her like this before. She's normally very peaceful and accommodating to travelers.
Yeah, that's just how these creatures are with each other. They're what you call territorial. They don't like, I bet it has to do with mine. They don't like each other too much. They don't even have any real reason to be near each other. They had any choice.
Anna smiles, seeming to wanting to try and inject an optimistic bright spot into the situation, and says, well, then I suppose things can go back to normal once we're all finished up here, yeah?
Yeah. They
I'm
can
knocked
be
out.
as far apart as they want.
Yeah.
All right. You guys slowly settle in for a long rest, with the squeaks of the creatures above, and the distant drips and ambience of the cavern surrounding you. If we're good to continue. you guys awake the next day. And Paul, you wake. As you wake, you feel very sore. Your wound has healed, but you can feel your body still kind of working off the residuals of the poison that had gone through your body.
Yeah. That didn't go well.
Orlando kind of chuckles. Yeah, it's an understatement. Are you okay?
Hmm. I think I'll be fine.
Anna kind of smiles and says, I bet you've seen worse than this, huh?
Yeah.
I've seen worse giant spiders. You ever seen a giant water spider?
Water
They're a
spider.
real menace. One day you're just sailing on the sea, and next thing you know, you're losing men left and right.
You see Orlando kind of look over his shoulders whenever a small drop of water hits from a nearby cavern, and Anna kind of grabs him and is just, let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Orlando kind of smiles and looks towards the tunnel that would go deeper into the cavern and says, all right, we're pretty close to Lake of Ice now. And once we get there, it's only a few days away from where you guys are trying to go.
I have a feeling it won't be that simple.
No, but even then, that's gonna take a while.
Well,
That's 3 days they have a chance to jump us.
well, if we keep going, we should be fine.
That's the spirit.
Yep. 3
You
days.
guys,
I sure hope so.
you guys share a breakfast, drink out of your water skins before packing up camp and setting out. You guys
Into the wilderness.
well, quite the opposite, actually. As you guys,
Into the stony wilderness. So what? It's still wilderness.
well, I meant more that you're about to enter a city, if Orlando's map is correct.
Well, that's still a few days away.
No, you're going to get to the city soon, and then from there, it's a few days away to destination.
Yeah, to the.
I guess it's the urban jungle, so it's the urban wilderness.
The urban wilderness.
All right. As you guys trek through the tunnels, and you can already tell like the mist is starting to kind of disperse a little bit, and the cavern ambience is starting to kind of drift off. That you should be nearing the city soon, and Orlando kind of smiles at all of you as you walk. I've never been here myself, but I've heard it's a really nice place. They say the air is super clean, and it's just a real refreshing place. I know it's a popular type of area for people to retire if they can't afford to move to the capital.
Hmm. That sounds nice.
I'm trying to remember if this is the city I got in trouble.
You seem like the kind of person where we can just assume you're in trouble everywhere.
I mean, one could call that an occupational hazard. I mean, more so than other places. I know there's one city somewhere on this continent that I really screwed up in.
Well, only one way we're gonna find out, I suppose.
Forward.
You guys find light slowly starting to enter the dreary darkness once again. And you guys happily smile and jog a little bit to get there faster, ready to finally feel the sun on your skin. And you have officially
But it's constantly raining.
well, don't get ahead of me. Uh, and eventually, you guys step out into the sun. or what you had hoped was going to be the sun. As you guys step out of the tunnel into the open air, you find yourselves surrounded by a thick, ashy black fog. And as you guys just kind of take in the air, you can immediately
Even if there wasn't this fog, it's raining constantly in this place.
well, remember they said that the weather was just generally unpredictable everywhere, so it's like slightly different everywhere you go.
Oh.
As you guys inhale, you can smell distinctly this ashy, fiery scent. And despite the fog, as you lick your lips and inhale, it it feels like a normal moisture fog, but it's just accompanied by this like cigarette-esque aftertaste. And
You know, normally the smell of burning is a sign that this is where I screwed up.
Anna just elbows you. Would you stop it? And you guys listen, and despite, according to Orlando, this being a pretty popular city, it is dead silent. And
Well,
you
no one to get pissed about it.
and you guys are on, as you look at your feet, one of the few things you can see in this fog. You can see that you are on a pretty respectably made stone path. Just what you'd expect from city infrastructure. So it's just kind of unnerving because you can't see where you are, what's in front of you, and you can't hear anything.
This is unsettling.
It's like being on a fucking ghost ship.
I don't understand. This place is one of the biggest cities in Levant. It shouldn't be this quiet, even with everything going on.
Well, there's about 50 conclusions we could come to.
Well, let's at least be optimistic. We have a map, so we won't get lost. Orlando nods and unfurls his map, allowing you guys to get a look at it.
Alright, so guessing we need to go all the way up to the very top of the map?
Are you directing that at Orlando?
Yes.
Orlando nods and he points to the midway path and says, unless we can figure out how to get power restored to the generators, yeah, it's going to be the only way we can get there.
What happened? I'm sorry.
Paul was
People
asking.
were messaging and I was reading it.
Paul was asking if the top path was the way they had to go, and Orlando was saying, unless you guys can restore power to something on the middle path, then yes.
Top it
Very
is.
interesting.
Okay, so you guys just gonna follow the path for now?
I think. Well, how would be a way for us to restore power? How can Bucket solve problem? Well, guess we'll go up.
Okay. If nobody has any objections. You guys follow the path for several minutes, and just this oppressive silence overtakes the group. In the distance, you can hear like the thunder and other just heinous weather elsewhere in this landscape, but in your immediate area, it's just nothing. And eventually, finally, a sound does start to grace your oppressed ears. You hear this kind of sound ahead of you, and as you guys continue forward through the fog, you can see this light blue flashing. ahead of you. The path slowly is starting to turn, but not quite yet. It seems like if you keep going, you're probably going to stumble on whatever's making that flashing.
Well, that might be a way to restore power, so I say we go.
Onwards.
You guys continue forward, and eventually through this black mist, you see the walls of what looks like to be a small fort of sorts start to loom out of the fog. And you see a gate, a wooden gate, facing towards the path. Seems like travelers were intended to come through here, but tied across the tops of these walls are several wires. And you can see what's causing the sparking. And this kind of burnt burnt meat smell hits your nose as you close in,
Yum.
which just meshes excellently with the cigarette-y smell of this mist. And as you look up over the entryway, you can see a large avian creature that is tangled among the electrical wires, sparking violently as its body is burnt to a crisp. It appears to be long dead, but still twitching occasionally as the electricity courses through it.
You have to figure out how to get that thing off. So you said it's tangled in the wires?
Yeah, it without making any kind of checks, just from what you can gather, it seems like it probably like perched here or was flying nearby and then just got tangled on the wire, died.
This poor creature.
Right. This might result in bad, but I attempt to untangle creature.
Make me a just general dexterity check.
There it is. That is an 8.
Paul, as you lay your hands on some of the wires just to try and start like parsing it a bit, you feel this like your muscles tense up violently, and you guys watch as he approaches this, and you just see this flash. And you see Paul seize up before he goes flying backwards with smoke coming from his palms. You take 6 lightning damage and are thrown back 10 feet away from the entryway.
Ow. Anyone else have any ideas? Guess not.
Yep.
Uh,
I'll take a bit to think.
all right. Now, dude, it's time.
Oh boy.
I pull out my bucket.
Oh boy. I just love it's time.
Trying to think, how would I do this? I'm either whack it with the bucket. That could still technically shock me. Alright. I throw the bucket at it.
What exactly are you hoping to accomplish here? Like, do you just want to see what happens, or like, is there some kind of particular objective you want to hit?
Well, my somewhat thought process, which I mean, 1 in a million it even works, and frankly, it shouldn't work at all. I'm just trying to put the bucket into a situation, but is like sort of knock it out of like sort of knock it out of entanglement or something like that. I don't know.
Unfortunately, it is tangled far too thoroughly for one blunt impact to do it. But you do throw your bucket at it, and there's this pretty impressive flash and banging sound as it flies away. And freaking like you just catch it as it comes back towards you.
Well, I'm all out of ideas.
Orlando looks down at you and is just, that was really impressive, but what are you trying to accomplish exactly?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to get that out of the wires.
I think it's too late to save it, unfortunately.
I, I understand that, but him being in the wires is probably what's stopping the electricity or something like that.
Uh, he shakes his head and says, I'm not so sure. I think that the electricity for this is probably just coming from the generators keeping this place powered. If you want to restore power to get us up to the mountain quicker, we'd probably have to go into the city for that.
Why didn't you say that sooner? All right, let's go.
Yeah, you looked like you were having fun.
He was.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go into the city.
All right. The rest of you have anything you want to do with this area before you go?
What is this creature?
Make me a nature check.
Da-da-da-da. 17.
You can actually identify this creature. You remember, you've never seen one before, but you do recall it from your various academy teachings. Many places have different names for it. And there isn't really a general consensus on what this creature should be called or what it's capable of, mostly because it shouldn't be alive. This creature is an extinct flying creature from the distant past, small population of which has survived into the modern day. You know them by various names, although, as you were told growing up, most people in your area simply refer to them as big birds.
Big birds.
Very descriptive.
Why is there an extinct bird here?
I mean, he looks pretty extinct to me.
Well, you know,
Okay.
especially
Real quick, I gotta give you props for that one. I think that's the best fucking joke we've had this entire game so far. You know, fuck it. I'm giving you inspiration for that one. That was good. Just the delivery was perfect. Anna looks up at it and she seems kind of sad. And says, well, this isn't a natural population. The circus usually keeps a flock of them.
Circus.
Orlando looks up at the creature, and you see him make a small motion with his hands as if he's wishing it peace before saying, I guess this one must have escaped and not been able to see where it was flying through the fog.
Yeah.
So, what's the circus?
Anna looks to you, and she doesn't seem like aghast or anything. More just like genuinely curious, and just like, do you mean like what's a circus in general, or like this specific one?
This specific one. Don't worry, I've heard of circuses before.
Anna just smiles. They're great fun, aren't they? And Orlando,
Yes, it's a great fun.
Orlando smiles and says, "It's the Feast of the Eyes circus. They travel around Levant every so often. They don't exactly do a lot of performances themselves. It's one of those mostly audience participation kind of things. But everyone really loves it whenever they come to their city, so it's a pretty big deal."
Hmm. So, are they unfortunately holed up here?
Yeah, he kind of creases his brow and says, "I'm not sure. For obvious reasons, wasn't keeping track of where they were when everything went down. But I guess, yeah, it would make sense if they ended up here."
Hmm. Let's go to the city then.
Orlando nods and just looks in the general direction of where the city would be through the fog and just says, "I hope everyone's okay."
Mm. Well,
Maybe there are zombies.
oh. That's something to think about.
Orlando just kind of flinches. Just, why'd you have to say that?
I doubt there will be.
Alright, well, let's go into the
Famous
city.
last words.
Captain Ray, you still with us before we go any further?
Yeah. Rip.
Yeah, he'd been quiet, so I thought something may have come up, but
Yeah.
we were in the middle of dialogue. We'll give it. Oh,
Okay, that's the second time we're almost all asleep.
Should we call it there and be like, oh, we're going city?
yeah. All right.
Mm.
All right. So, you guys managed to survive your second encounter with another of Sanguis's kind. This time, one of your party. Huh?
And I can't do these long nights no more.
Long night.
Just barely getting through the encounter. Only the grace of spider venom keeping Paul through the encounter. You have entered into the city of Lakenice, where it seems like the city is currently coated in a dense fog. And it appears the circus is in town with a seemingly escaped flock of pteranodons. So let us see. We will see what
I
wonders
thought it
await
was
you
avian.
next time. And yeah, pteranodons are avians.
No, they're not. They're pteranodons.
They fly, don't they?
But they're not avians are birds.
All right, hold on. Before we call, let's settle this.
It must be settled.
Avian. Definition. A bird.
I mean, is it a bird?
Bird.
I don't think. Is it a bird?
Pterodactyloids are a large suborder of avian reptiles.
Yeah, but that's avian reptiles.
Oh my god. All right, so we will see what wonders the city of Lakenice has next week. See you guys then. Thanks for watching, and everyone in the party, thanks for playing.
Yeah.